Hello and welcome to another episode of That's Dota. With me, Zale and Striker. How you doing, Striker?
Hey, I'm good. Good to be back.
Yeah.
In case you're
So
wondering,
we are
it's in
looking
the
at
bag.
a group of secret people against
It's in
random
the
people with
bag.
difficult to pronounce names.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
looking forward to saying their names.
I'll start with the easy ones first. So
It's in the bag.
going, I think Carry Silencer. I think the Cry person on the safe lane. Then Chad Empathy is going support Venomancer. And then to complete the tri lane, we have Whiskey Communist going support Undying. The mid lane is going to be taken up by
Battle will
Ingi on
commence in
the Storm Spirit.
30 seconds.
And then on the off lane is Scheherazade Cine, anyway.
Yeah, it's. I was even taking a look and seeing how I was going to do that, but taking a look on the dire, the offlane is going to be He Toep. So wrong, but carry on. Top is going to be Weaver.
The Weaver.
Trickster is the Crystal Maiden who's currently sitting in the
Oh,
Radiant.
sorry, down in the bottom ward
Battle
before you do
begins.
the fight here.
This'll come in
I
handy.
think they're probably just going to disengage.
Yeah, there's nothing really can be done on that.
Avalanche.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Which brings us neatly onto Bombgay on the Alchemist, and finally Tiny as Tiny in the mid lane.
I think using Avalanche is probably kind of good for the Radiant there because he had a clarity, so he's popped that. But like, you know, Tiny is absolutely mana starved in the early parts of the game. He's really just going to have one more before it's bottled. Anyway, he's just going to have one more Avalanche. So this is really Storm Spirits, I think, to kind of dominate here.
Yeah, and all they did was just force out a bit of regen on the Radiant side. Nothing major, but yeah, and the clarity, especially on the Tiny, just is going to prevent him from having that second Avalanche. Sitting on top should be fine against this lane, even if
But yeah,
he gets caught.
especially the CN has absolutely no regen. She's just gone straight boots. So if Cine can, Simmersaw can kind of do a little bit of harassment now. Obviously, she's kind of well placed. You can't really right click her, but you know, if he gets like a Whirling Death into Timber Chain combo on her, she's going to have to back.
Yeah, the Timber Chain is really nice, just because even if she does lock him down, he can just chain away. That's one thing I didn't know. I thought once you were locked down, that was it, but you can't pull yourself out of it.
Yeah, I think he should be safe enough. Like, he has levels of reactive armor, he has a Timber Chain, and Weaver, Crystal Maiden's not really much of a killer. And Crystal Maiden is a nice kind of route, but Weaver's not going to be doing too much right-click damage.
Even so, as the Geminate attack is just going to proc up that reactive armor much more, and it's just going to help him back off and regen. This is a very defensive trial, and they've gone in the safe lane. I can't really see them having a great kill potential. You have the stun coming out, the instant stun coming out from Sand King, and a channel stun from the Alchemist, so even if they do manage to go on them, they can just stop it. And we missed the first blood.
Blood, and it's already icing
Oh,
over.
that was on the Timber. I mean, I can imagine the only way that really happened was he was on half health when they went on. You know, like, it's not much a kill lane, but if you're standing there against two people on half health, then you kind of have to expect it.
So the Alchemist has gone invis, whether he's going to try and see if he can make something happen in the middle lane. I think he doesn't see what's coming.
Really good time to hit Storm is any time before he hits level 6, because he's actually really easy to gank before he gets his ball lightning.
So he's channeling up the stun. Here we go now. This could be a death mid lane. He's going to get the Tiny first. He's going to lose his life though to the acid. Oh! Yeah, one like big, massive paw to the back of the head and he's dead.
Yeah, I think Tiny was trying to get out just a little bit too much. Like, he knew that the Alchemist was coming, so he wanted to keep Storm Spirit kind of engaged, but Ingi was just kind of wailing away with him, like a good 4 or 5 seconds before the Alchemist even showed up. So by the time the Alchemist got there, he was on such low health that Ingi could just turn and blast him, even though he was on no health himself.
Not for you.
Craggy exterior is not really doing anything as of yet, but that's one of the things I've come up against facing a Tiny. You just completely forget. It's kind of like Crack and Shell in the ways you just don't expect it. Try and put out your skills and you're just completely negated.
Yeah, kind of interesting as well. This Alchemist is roaming. Like, so they've gone for the dual lanes, and Alchemist. You'd think when you just look at their team that Alchemist and Weaver and Tiny are going to be their kind of carries, but Alchemist is spending a lot of time roaming while Sand King takes the solo off lane.
Well, there's a lot of life there.
Oh, and the Alchemist is roamed up top. It's going to be another kill on Tiny. Yeah,
You move like a blue heart glacier.
it's good roaming by the Alchemist. Like, Sand King is going to be dead safe in the offlane until they get wards. And even then, like, they don't have a single route, they just have a slow with the Venomous Gale. So he should be fine with Burrow Strike. Sand King is quite a difficult hero to kind of lock down and kill. They're going to go on him now. The Venomous Gale comes out.
That's all it takes, though. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can't, like, I don't know if he's caught that, but he just walked up into 3 of them. I mean, you know, you have escapes, but if you're on the solo offlane against the tri lane, you know, you can't just walk up and expect not to die.
So he unfortunately didn't get the illusion rune. He's going to go down and get the bounty rune. I really like this change to the runes, that you, even if you go to the wrong direction, you're still going to get a rune.
Yeah, it means a lot of the heroes that are so dependent on getting their bottle refilled will pretty much always get it unless the supports are spending a lot of time. Like we were saying at the beginning of this game as well, that Tiny's going to have a hard game against Earthshaker and against the Storm Spirit. And if you look at the last hits, I think he's 19-2 against Tiny's 5-1, so he's doing a good job on zoning the Tiny out. I mean, Tiny hasn't. Well, now he's just gotten his bottle. Once he has his bottle, he should be okay because he can just avalanche a creep wave and try and get 2 or 3 hits.
So he's doing okay. He seems to have kind of balanced out. Getting the 1 now is a good shout because they do have a lot of spells that they would be using. Experience and gold are showing strange
So
stories.
they're going on Tiny again. He's okay.
Weaver's going on this.
Radiant's top tower
Misses
is
his
under siege.
swarm. So they do have the ward down bot, which is going to be good for all these times, is that if Alchemist does decide to leave the Sand King again, is that they can actually see him.
Oh, the Alchemist. What? He's popped his stun. He's going to go in for this.
And he's silenced, he can't. Well,
Then goes the great.
Silencers is going to die.
I mean, it's crazy.
Just a
I mean,
TP
I
out.
suppose maybe it's worth it. Yeah, it probably is worth it. You know, if it's the carry silencer, you lose a Sand King because of it now. Sand King dying here. Oh, they're going to go on mid against Ingy.
Oh, and he balls out.
Really nice ball out of the throw. Roaming Crystal Maiden. It must have said the Dire are doing a really good job of kind of constantly roaming, much better than the Radiant. Although for their defense, you know, you can't really have a roaming Undying. Maybe a roaming Venomancer would be good, but
This'll come in
You really need to be landing those gales in order for it to be worth it.
yeah, I mean, like, and dual lanes aren't very strong, you know, in general, but if you have the supports on both dual lanes roaming to kind of scare, you know, the mid and the other lanes, then it's a really good sign. Like earlier on, an Alchemist just took an illusion and brought an illusion down mid, and Ingy immediately balled away, and you can see he's a little bit scared from the last time that he was ganked by an Alchemist. So stuff like that, I mean, kind of, it really does help you out in the lane.
We see now the typical pause on pause time. So we have an AFK Timber Saw. Tiny does have his bottle, he's going to grab a DD for us. This is going to make I think it'll be a nice little difference when he comes to the mid lane now. Though Storm Spirit is level 7 versus the level 6. He's nearly a full level ahead of him, Storm Spirit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how this kind of pans out now in the next 10 minutes, because the Radiant lineup tends to be, it's a lot more kind of mid-game oriented. I mean, you don't really have too many carries. I mean, Storm Spirit can carry decently into the late game, and Silencer, if he snowballs, is okay. But Undying really falls off. Like he's one of the biggest heroes that kind of tails off in the late game. And then you have a Venomancer who's, you know, is still relevant, but when you get a BKB up, he doesn't do too much. And then again with Timbersaw, he's a really snowbally hero. So if you don't snowball with Timbersaw, he's going to do really little in the late game. And then when you compare that to the Dire's team, you have a Tiny, you have a Weaver, and you have an Alchemist. All heroes who are relevant, like more than relevant in the late game. They're carries. You have a Sand King who's extremely relevant in the late game with his ults. Crystal Maiden does tail off, but I mean that's 4 heroes that are relevant in the late game to the
Missing top.
you know 2 or maybe 3 of the Radiant. So I think
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
they'll need to.
You're
Oh,
allowed
they're going to
to
make a
start
dive here.
trying now.
Top. Alchemist is a stun. He's going to try, but he doesn't have any backup. Oh.
On a short chain.
Radiant's top
Yeah, the
tower
timber
is
chain.
under
He's
siege.
lucky, really lucky that no one backed
Radiant
Alchemist up there. He was
structures
dead
have
if
been
he
fortified.
had backup.
I don't know why he shouldn't really be here. He should have seen that Crystal Maiden going in, but they are going to lose their top tower for this. It's understandable as though the Alchemist has been roaming up to this lane quite a lot, and they do manage to get the Sand King down pot. Tiny's left in the mid lane.
Yeah. It's a good play by
Dire's
the
bottom
Radiants.
tower
Like,
is under siege.
if they're going to commit 3 players top, then this could be bad. Though Tiny's coming in, They're all on low health. It's a nice scale, a nice stun by Tiny. He's going to use, yeah.
That's the Carrigan again. The Argyle is
Tombstone
tiny
goes down.
first.
Keep being by E. They shouldn't be fighting with Tombstone. It's really dangerous, especially now the Storm Spirits come in. Crystal Maid is definitely going to die for this. I don't know why she was walking in and do that.
He doesn't have enough mana.
Okay, here comes Sankey. They back up against
Radiant's
Sankey.
top
Now they don't want to
tower
fight with
is
Sankey.
under attack. This should be interesting.
And Venomancer should just get away with his life here, but Alchemist has extended a bit too much here.
Radiant's middle
Probably
tower
die,
is
but
under attack.
I was going to try and kill himself, but
And nope, a nice right click from me, he gets him.
Blown away.
That's going to put
yeah,
him.
the Dire kind of don't really seem to understand that.
Radiant's top
Making these
tower
plays
is
against
under
Undying
attack.
is really, really
Bad news
risky.
when you
Like, what did they
find
lose there? They
towers
lost an
outside.
offlane Alchemist, they lost a
Crystal Maiden
mid
and a bit tiny, yeah.
and and they got a silencer. I think that's it, really, just a silencer. I mean, yeah, fair enough, killing the carry is always good, but not for that amount.
Now, I wonder, if you are in Storm Spirit's shoes, what would you be going first this game?
Yeah, I'm always never sure what to go with Storm Spirit. I think I would probably go Orchid. There's a few great heroes you can hit with Orchid, Weaver especially. If you can get your Orchid up before Weaver gets his Lincolns up, Weaver really stops becoming a problem. Also, Orchid is much more of a kind of a snowball item than Bloodstone in terms of defensively, and I think Storm Spirit is probably going to need to snowball a bit if they're going to survive this game. Because if Storm Spirit just has a mediocre game and kind of Tiny keeps up with them, then I don't think they're going to win it because they just don't have the carry potential. They really do need to have a decent mid-game hero with Silencer and Storm Spirit because they are mid-game heroes.
Radiant has
And they're
fortified
up against a team
structures.
kind of full of kind of late-game carries, which
Yeah.
is not that late, but
Obviously, there's going to be a fight in mid. There's going to be 4 of the Dire heroes are coming in here. They really need to rotate in here. I think a Tombstone here would be great, since they're also
Tombstone
clumped
would
up.
be really good.
There's the catch. Tombstone comes down. There it is.
Tombstone doesn't really catch it, and he comes in. Tombstone doing a lot of work here. But they just don't have the... You know,
Tiny's gonna die.
Yeah, he's Tiny. But they
And
got
Weaver's going to
some
lose.
other
Yeah. Weaver's coming back in to try and take the Undying. Undying does manage to get the deny on the tower, which is huge. Weaver might lose his life here. Oh, he's out.
Timbersaw picks off the Alchemist as well over to the right. I think that would have been okay if Silencer didn't commit. I think, like, if you have a big fight in the mid lane, and you have like people like a Timbersaw
Dire's bottom
and
tower
an
is
Undying,
under attack.
and you're fighting a tier, and you're
that's part
fighting
of your
with your
plan.
tier 1. I mean, the Silencer can do quite a lot just by, using his ults and pushing the bot lane. Like, if
Dire's
Silencer was
bottom
at the bot
tower is
lane
under
right now,
siege.
they probably would have taken that tower. While that fight was going on, because they just left the Venomancer really to push, and I think they would have kind
Dire's
of had
bottom tower is
similar
being
results
attacked.
really. I don't think the Silencer would have kind of turned the fight there.
Now, I think Silencer had been going for, and we're going to see a ult used on Chat Empathy down, and it's going to completely whiff. Now he has no mana to do anything. And he's going to lose his life here, this as well. Silence comes out, it's going to stop him, get him out of his invis. And then we're going to get some spawning zombies.
Well, they have backup though. A lot of people are coming down. They see this. Alchemist is up to stun. Get off the.
Gonna get back towards the...
They are fighting against
Dire's
Tombstone
top
again.
tower
though.
is
Yet
under
again.
siege.
So this is back on. Oh, here comes Tiny. This could be bad for the Radiant. Silencer's going
Dire's
to
top
die
tower
again.
is under attack.
Silencer, I think, had been going... Oh, and Timbersaw is going to go down as well. Silencer, I think, had been building towards a Midas, thought better of it, and switched, just went straight to threads.
Yeah, yeah.
Dire's top tower is being
He's
attacked.
just a bit too, he's too far behind now. I know Midas maybe is a good recovery item, but if you're looking for, if your main team
Dire's
strength
top
is in the mid
tower
game,
is under siege.
Midas is much more of a late game item, so you don't want to pick the Midas up because by the time it comes into effect, you'll be pretty much in the late game and you'll be just out carried.
Radiant's bottom tower is
It is
being
worrying though
attacked.
that your safe lane
It's
carry
probably
Silencer
nothing to
is.
worry
I
about.
think he has probably the most deaths. Yeah, he does.
Okay, that's 4 deaths.
Yeah, and Silencer is a snowbally hero really, so that is quite worrying.
He has been around for a couple of the kills, which is good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
The thing is as well, we talk about carries, but the only hero that's really kind of stopping the farm is the Weaver. If you look at the net worth, okay, because the Maiden might get caught out here, she's gone into the jungle to, they don't spot her out. She's pinged out, but Venomancer doesn't really spot her. I wonder if they saw the ward. That word is giving great vision now that we can see all three heroes.
Yeah, Tiny's coming in here. They're going to grab
They're
it.
still going to fight this. Oh, they're going to Tombstone down. That's just going to make so much work.
Think he's possibly going to lose his life here? No. So he's going to get that tombstone one way or another.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
We might be able to clean up here. Getting a kill on Storm Spirit would be huge.
Dominating. Double kill.
Try that blind silence.
Oh,
He gets the silence. Is it going to take out the Weaver?
Yes,
It is.
does. A big kill for the Silencer. He's falling behind that 490 gold. Really helps now. Just doesn't.
There's an overcommitment by the Sand King.
Oh, Sand King keeps going in. If he only hears the TP, what is he doing?
He does get caught with the silence. This is going to take him down and going to kill him.
Yeah,
Wand.
I think he's dead.
Yeah. Just to the dots.
This is just non-stop fighting. People don't care if TPs are coming in. They don't care what they're diving. They don't care that they're fighting against
Dyer's
Tombstone. They
middle
just
tower is under
keep fighting.
siege.
And that was a huge change there. I mean, if you're looking at the network before that fight, it went Weaver, Storm Spirit, Tiny, Alchemist, and then Silencer was way down. But now Silencer is fourth at network, almost competing with the Tiny. So that just shows how big he's going to die here again.
And Tombstone is down again. Toss in, get him further away from the Tombstone. Crazy plays here.
I have never seen a Tombstone like be utilized so much as this game. We're 14 minutes in and there's so many kills.
Is he going to be able to get the Weaver here? The ult goes off.
Dyer's top tower
Channeling up his
Really
ult.
big ult.
Oh, Ingy. Just out of range, he manages to pop out and miss it. And this Tombstone is just doing so work.
Dyer's
Amazing when it
top
dies, but
tower
after Weaver dies.
That's 5 kills. Oof. They really want this this bottom lane.
Dyer's top
I mean, the
tower
Weaver
is
was
destroyed.
farming away, and he was over 1,000 ahead in net worth. But because he's just spent the last 5 minutes fighting and dying in the bot lane,
Is under attack.
the rating. They're just
Alchemist is possibly going to lose his life here.
Alchemist is coming in. Okay, wait, get the TPs now. Run away, guys. Run away. Stop following this.
The avalanche comes out, does catch one. Wands, walks away.
Radiant's
all you need.
middle tower is being attacked. Dyer's bottom tower is being attacked.
I think it's bravado now that's coming out, and that people are thinking, oh, we're after killing 5 of them, right? Let's keep pushing.
Radiant's middle tower
Yeah, I mean,
is
like
under
the
siege.
network just like swung so much there in favor of the Radiant. They were well behind. Both Alchemist, Tiny, and Weaver were all in the top 4. Only Ingy on the Storm Spirit was anywhere close. But now, if you look at the network, Tiny and Alchemist are so far down. And like we were talking about this game, how the carries when it goes into the late game. But just Tiny and Alchemist are so far behind now. Like this game is going to have to go quite late for them to be as relevant as they could be. The Weaver now still will be a problem, but
Let's
right
go
now it's
BKB
kind of
first.
the Weaver is
Yeah. Strange choice on the Weaver. I don't understand what the Tiny's building. He's sitting on 1900 gold and has been for quite a while through all these
That's
deaths.
Blink Dagger, definitely.
Blink will be nice, but the only problem is they seem to be when they
Radiant's
initiate,
top
they initiate
tower
into a
is under
tombstone.
siege.
So he's going to get to the zombies faster, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, Tiny is just such good burst damage and especially if you're mid. Now it is really late for a Blink Dagger because he's just spent the last 10 minutes dying. But like a Blink into Avalanche toss, it's like
Radiant's top
that'll
tower
kill.
is under
That'll kill your
attack.
Storm Spirit. It'll kill your Venomancer. It might even kill your
Dyer's middle
Silencer
tower is being attacked.
if you can land it.
Dyer's structures
It is going
have
very
been
late.
fortified.
Yeah. Storm has just about finished his Orchid, and that's going to be huge. He's going to be able to pick off
Alchemist is
heroes.
coming in through the back here. He's gonna. This is a very dangerous. Okay, we hit the Undying, but Knight's gonna get it. Okay, Knight.
Are we going to get the tombstone?
Yes.
Oh, it's a great fight. And Ingy, is he going to be able to zap away?
Clever initiation.
Nope, and he actually loses his life there. Yeah, that was good. He managed to get them. He caught 2 or 3, I think, with the stun. Then following it up with the epicenter is just huge. Followed like in second stun, huge damage.
Radiant's
Yeah, it was
bottom
really
tower
clever.
is
They knew
being
that
attacked.
Undying is the main reason that they're kind of losing all these huge team fights. So they landed the Alchemist stun, and then they immediately followed up with a Burrow Strike, which then followed up with the Epicenter. The Epicenter did a lot of work, but once that Tombstone didn't go down, they had that team fight won.
And that's, I think, is going to be
Yeah,
the story of the
Blink
next
Dagger.
the next 10-15 minutes or so, is that if they get the initiation off, if they can kill the Undying before the tombstone goes down, they're going to have a lot better time of it. And Crystal Maiden, what is she doing here?
I'm burning up.
And to pop the ult as well. Not a major thing, but still it's 150 seconds. They're going to be a very mobile team when they get these blinks up on the heroes, up on the tiny, up on the Sand King. So Weaver already straight away. He seems to have opted to turn away from the Mida, or the Blacking Baron is going the Desolator, which is the smarter play here. He could have picked up the Ogre Club, just a casual Ogre Club for a bit of HP, and then to follow it up later on into a BKB.
I think BKB is the right pickup instead of Incus in this fight, because there's just so much magic damage coming out from the Radiant. In terms of picking a Desolator up first, I don't know, I think you're doing enough damage, do you know what I mean? Like, you have your Tiny, you have your Sand King. The main thing you want to do is just survive the magic damage coming out. I would have rather a BKB first, especially because he had it so nearly finished. I mean, all he needs, like, what was he, another, like
well,
by now, he picked up another Mithril Hammer instead, like, you know, so, like, right now he's 2 Mithril Hammers and an Ogre Club, where he could have had a BKB and then started farming for Dessa.
So we're going to have 2 Orchids out. Well, Silencer will be having an Orchid as well. Ingy has just about finished it. He's about 200-300 more gold, and then we'll have the the Orchid out on Ingy.
Yeah, once that Orchid comes out, it's going to be, because I mean, Storm Spirit is a huge factor in these team fights. Like, he's the second highest net worth, almost first, competing with Weaver, and the 2 of them are way out in front. So once he gets the Orchids, he'll be able to, obviously, he'll be much more relevant in team fights. And he'll be extremely strong. I mean, that Orchid is good on so many heroes as well. Like, if you know, you can stop, obviously you can stop a big team fight skill like, you know, Sand King or Crystal Maiden, but also if you just landed on, like, the Weaver, he's not going to be able to escape, he's an easy kill. If you landed on the Alchemist before he hits a stun, also huge. Tiny's right clicks aren't doing that much at the moment, especially because he's gone Blink Dagger. He hasn't got anything to augment his right clicks except for Phase Tread, so if you landed on the Tiny, you know, before he hits his Avalanche toss combo, then Tiny's not going to be doing much damage in the team fight either. So, yeah, it's a great pickup.
Now, what do you think about this double Sage Mask up on Tiny? Do you think that's just from some Mirage regen, or is he looking to build that into something, potentially into an Orchid of his own?
I'm not sure what he's.
Oh, and he manages to catch out Ingy, but Ingy manages to zip out of the way. This is it. Unless you can completely take him down, he's just going to zip away. But yeah, this is the kind of the scariness of Tiny's. He can blink in and he can just take you down so quickly.
Yeah, that's the power of Blink Dagger. Like, he's obviously a great right click carry to get ags and such, but he's also, he's going to get caught out here by the Venom Wards, and he's on his own, completely on his own.
He's going to lose his life for this.
Tombstone comes
I
down.
don't know if they needed the Tombstone here.
It's, you know, it's only a 60-second cooldown, something like that. Get the Tiny down. Yeah, he may as well pop it, why not?
Mordigan's finished up on Alk. Oh, and they have the vision. They're going to loop up into the jungle and see if they can catch someone else out. They've got to the point where Storm can just zip on top of people and silence them. Oh, and there's an Alchemist. He might go in on this.
Strange positioning here. The Venomaster just going straight in. Silence is being popped, really nice silence. But he's taking so much damage from the Alchemist. The scale only hits 1. Getting the Alchemist in, you know, it's okay.
That Mordigan's pop-up is just ridiculous. Epicenter's coming. Ooh, don't know if that was worth it. After losing 3 for that. And Weaver's going to keep following this up.
It does come out.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
And you might be able to clean up here so you can silence it. Yeah.
All for naught.
It's hard to know which way these fights are going, I suppose.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Like, everybody's dying every time, you know. Like, but the only people that survive in that fight is the Timber Sonic. That's made now, you know, if they get a tear out of it, you know, that's great.
It'll probably be fine.
But really, it is difficult to know. I suppose that every fight that kind of goes like this, Dire probably gets an advantage because this is when the Radiant are supposed to be stronger. You know, they have the Undying, they have the Venomancer. I think the problem there was you're pushing into a tier 2 power. You don't have Tombstone, which is one of your strongest skills at the moment, and your Venomous Gale whiffed.
Because it looks like
so
they're
once
really
that really
falling
happens,
for
you
it.
lose all of the potential that you have. You know, all of your mid-game strengths really. So when you whiff that, and you don't have your tombstone, then you're kind of going to be fighting a losing battle. And especially if you can't stop the epicenter from coming off.
Yeah, that's the big thing. The second they saw that coming up, they should have just left. Followed up, then it was the reverse freezing field coming onto it as well. Freezing field, well, it can do huge damage, but when it's set up with the Weaver running around right-clicking you and the epicenter, it's going to do huge damage.
The problem as well with the Radiant draft becoming apparent to me is they have no stuns, so they've nothing to knock the freezing field out, and they've nothing to stop the Sand King epicentering, unless you throw out your Orchid.
Or the electric vortex, or or they need to pick up something like a Yule Scepter.
Yeah, that would be a great pickup.
I kind of feel like getting a second Orchid on the silencer, while it is a great item, something more effective, I think would have been better. That can come later on. He already has the silence and would have done one Orchid out on the field. Something like the Yules would have been, I think, a little bit better.
Yeah, I think he needs to stop playing. I'd almost go for BKB first. I mean, he's really struggling to stay alive in these fights. I think an Orchid is a little bit greedy.
BKB is going to come out in the Storm Spirit any soon enough.
But I mean, you know, 2 silences if they can hit the silence as well. The problem is you have an Orchid which you know, the soul burn is great and it does amplify damage, but the silence is also a huge part of that item, and you already have a skill that makes everybody silenced in a team fight, you know. So if you initiate, you hit silence, and then you have 2 items that, like, what do you do with them? Do you hit your Orchids straight away so you get the amplified damage? Do you wait until silence wears off and then use the Orchids to silence them? You know, it seems to me you're kind of doubling up a little bit too much, especially if you're going 2 Orchids. So right now you have a global silence, 2 items that provide silence, and then what is it, like last word or something that also silences?
There's the silence, last word, pretty much everything silencer does silences.
Yeah.
But then the only thing is if you get the silence off, if you initiate with a silence, and let's say you take out the heavy hitters, like let's say if you get rid of the Sand King and let's say maybe Alk with those Orchids, then it is worth it. But I get what you're saying is that you're using a silence on a silence just to get amp damage.
Yeah, and also I kind of look at Orchid Mevans as a ganking item, and which is great on Storm Spirit, but on Silencer, like, Silencer's not going to be ganking too many heroes. Like, he's being built as kind of like a right-click carry. So I don't know. See, I don't play Silencer that often, so it's hard to recommend other items to pick. But I don't know if Orchid fits here.
Well, you just want int, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he becomes so hard. Oh, here we go, they're going to initiate onto the Tiny. They catch him out with the Tombstone as well. I suppose the Tombstone here is okay because it prevents people coming back in. They have to initiate into a Tombstone that's already there.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, I don't mind, like, even before, like, using a Tombstone to kill Tiny is fine. Like, it's definitely worth it, but you just need to be aware that you're not going to have it for the fight. Obviously this time they are, which is great. But really nice pick off from Ingy. Like, he saw that Tiny was out of position, like even a little bit out of position. Like, he was like,
we're going to see the Epi is being channeled up here. He's going to blink in. Oh, completely whiffs again. Unfortunate. And he is Orchid. And he's dead. Alk is coming in with the stun. Does get it out onto the... Yeah, he is hitting pretty hard. Oh, he's going to take the Weaver out.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
Alchemist is starting to hit very, very hard. Especially with Vlad's up.
It's so hard to make head or tail of these fights. There's no clear outcome. So, big thing there, Sand King used his Burst Strike well, but then didn't really follow it up with anything. He kind of used his Burst Strike, blinked into the middle of everyone, but it was so much in the middle that he wasn't really hitting anyone. And he needed the Burrow Strike really quickly to follow up, but he was too slow on the Burrow Strike, and then the Global Silence came out really well timed, stopped them Burrow Striking, so that meant the Epicenter did absolutely nothing. But on the other side, by the time the actual fight started, Tombstone was down, so they weren't actually, as in it was gone, so they didn't have Tombstone to help them. So yeah, kind of two big abilities there gone. I didn't see the Venomous Gale. I didn't see who it hit, but I think they dodged the Sand King well enough, and they got the Crystal Maiden before the Freezing Field came out. But now you're starting to see Alchemists do quite a lot of damage. Like he's starting to become really relevant now. A little bit worrying because you stop the Sand King from doing much to you. You kill a Tiny before the fight even starts, but you still kind of lose the fight / come out even. And that's quite worrying.
And they're going to take a Roche off this, which they can easily do. This is the thing, Alchemist has gone for a very strange build, kind of a support tank nearly. But he could easily transition to start just doing DPS, like he's already ridiculously strong. He's probably going to finish out the BKB for the Weaver as well.
Yeah, a big pickup there with the Roshan. I mean that's such a big item to get the Aegis, because all of these fights are pretty much coming out even. So if you have something obviously that can let your carry respawn again, then you're definitely going to win the team fight as long as they stay the same. Feeling quite good for the Dire here. I mean the fight didn't go well top, but so many kind of factors.
Oh, and then Dying's going to like here. He's just completely out of position trying to ward that Roshan. No need to be there.
Definitely the time to push now. When Dying is down, that means there'll be no Tombstone. You have an Aegis. Yeah, you got to hit mid now.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked. Radiant's
And he's going to drum. I still don't know what he's actually going to build. I think if he's going to go anything, he should go Ags into Yasha.
Ags would be really good. Yeah, I think it's time. Really nice.
Oh, and a huge blink out.
There's a load of people there. It's a really good game. I think, I don't know, maybe they feel like they have to fight under silence, but it's a bit dangerous to be fighting so far outside the tower.
Does catch off the Tiny. Weaver's going to time lapse. Is he going to get caught? Oh, he does get hit with the Orchids. But is the right click to actually take him down? And another epicenter that does absolutely nothing. No mana left on Iggy to zip after that. Weaver, he's just too just able to get away.
He's
going to die to the dot? He is. Pops the Aegis. If they were able to get, they should get on top of this, but no mana.
That's huge for them. That's good. I mean, they lost to Terra, fair enough, but they were able to defend against, without the Tombstone and with an Aegis. Really good work. There's a really good Venomous Gale that hit, I think, 4 if not 5. Which started the fight off really well. Silence went off nicely. Once again, the Sand King didn't really manage to land his ult well at all. He's kind of channeling his ult and then just kind of blinking or walking in, and he's not burrow striking anyone to keep them in the ult really. And he also used it when he was BKB'd. Also, Ingy was really good in that fight. He balled past Weaver and Alchemist and just started picking off the supports like Crystal Maiden, and he also picked off the Tiny, I think, while Tiny was on the silence. BKB is doing so much work for him at the moment because he's extremely dangerous, he's doing so much damage, and also it's really hard for anyone to hit him because you can't, with all your magic damage you can't touch him with his BKB up, and he's balling really well, so every time that like the Weaver or the Alchemist try to kind of latch onto him, he's just kind of balling away from them a little bit.
The Poison Nova is what really initiated that. I don't think they were actually going to fight on it. When Poison Nova caught so many of them, they decided, listen, silence, let's go. And Tiny just took so much damage from it. Tiny's got caught again by the Ingy. Ingy does pop the BKB and actually just blows him up. I think Weaver might lose his life here. The only problem is he has the BKB up, so he can just actually just walk away. Ingy's looking to follow this, but I don't know if he's going to be able to actually do anything. Just get the Orchid off. Oh, he's going to take him out.
Doing so much damage.
Oh. And I think it's just turning a bit in favour of the Radiant now. These good pickoffs. I think he's after going a little bit too much.
Really nice burrow strike. Oh, he's going to epi.
Goes the epi.
Oh no!
And he gets silenced out of it.
He's still going to die.
Alka's just slowly running towards them in anger.
Oh god, Alka's doing a lot of extra damage.
The problem is he could probably kind of hold on to that blade mail a little bit longer. He's just assuming is that they're going to initiate straight onto him. There's no point is when an Alk comes in with a big chemical rage in your face, the last thing you want to do is right click him.
Yeah, but even like you can't walk, like fair enough you have blade mail active, but you can't just walk into 4 heroes like that. I mean, they can just wait until it's gone and then kill you.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
This Sand King is, yeah. Not for
That
lack
was
of trying
doubtful.
with his epicenter, but he's going to get one eventually.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
Silence onto one.
It's kind of a crazy blink though.
Radiant's top
This
tower
is
under
a crazy
attack.
place.
Blinks are
You don't
insane.
even
Yeah,
care,
they just.
do you?
I think they'd have to back now that Weaver's back.
Which
Radiant's
is smart.
top
They did enough
tower
damage
is
there. They
being
got enough
attacked.
kills. Well, they got fed a couple of kills there. Sand King, I don't know why he blinked in. There was no need to. Tiny was fair enough. He was poking up at the base, but he can take the damage and he can walk back away from it. But Sand King blinking out and burrow striking, your two means of escape, using them offensively.
Like, I just don't understand the purpose of that because okay, so your Weaver's dead and they're about to push your tier 3. So one of two things happens. They push your tier 3 and you fight them on the tower, or they stand faffing around, kind of just pinning you in, and you wait till your Weaver's back and then you go out and fight. But they did neither. They did neither of those things. They actually chose to go out and fight, and there was no pressure on their tier 3 at all. They didn't need to do it. They might have thought they could get pickoffs maybe, but they knew that there were 3 or 4 heroes there. Yeah, crazy position. As the game goes on, though, the alchemists get stronger, and that really can't be said for, the kind of like Ingi's doing really well on the storm spread, and he is obviously the main threat. Kind of, this is kind of getting to the stage now where Timbersaw starts to kind of fade away a little bit, Undying starts to kind of maybe fade away a little bit. So still, I mean, really good fight for the Radiant, but they're still not out of the woods yet.
Silencer is right clicking pretty hard, and he's going to go for his Ags. This Ags Silencer has become very popular of late. It not only does it increase the silence, but it puts Curse to the Silent. I think it's Last Word. Sorry, puts whatever your current skill of Last Word on everyone. So that's disarming 3 of their right-click heroes just with an ult. Alk's now
Dire's
going for a
bottom
pipe.
tower is under attack.
It's Alk, well, he's playing kind of a support out, but he definitely still had the option of just completely turning and go carry.
Yeah, well, he's kind of playing mid game. He's an armless. He has
Dire's
lads.
bottom
He has blade
tower
mail.
has
He's
fallen.
still he's quite scary. Like he was roaming at the beginning, which huge dive in by
Huge
This kind
grab.
of be a massive kill.
And they're going to get him here. There's no way they're not going to get him.
Dire's bottom tower
This
is
is
being attacked.
like incredible play by Ingi, who usually is quite a cautious player, but like he's these dives are. He's making these crazy dives and he's picking off because he knows that he's the strongest player in the game right now. And at the beginning we were saying that Storm Spirit is a snowbally hero, and in order for the Radiant to maybe stay in this game, he needs to ball on Storm Spirit, and that's exactly what he's doing at the moment. He is by far the scariest player in the game at the moment.
Definitely. I think he's going to go for the ultimate orb. What do you reckon?
Either
Probably.
Lincoln's or Sheep, I think.
Yeah, I think Lincoln's at this stage would be nice. Sheep, I think, is already on its way. Sheep or Shiva's on the Timbersaw.
I think it should be Sheep because you have BKB, and Sheep would be huge for like the Alchemist or someone like that, basically to kind of mitigate the fact that they maybe have a little bit more right-click carry than the Radiant do.
If they can get the Shivas and a Sheep up, it's going to be huge. Shivas is huge against right-click heroes, especially like Alk, like Tiny. But Weaver doesn't really matter when it's a Gemini attack. Even if you slow his attacks, he's still going to hit like a truck.
Roshan respawns in 10 seconds. I wonder if the Radiant are going to spot this out.
They could really do it. If they could get a Roshan, they could push and probably take a high tower. High tower? Push high ground, take a tower. The only problem is though, their lineup isn't great. Fair enough, Silencer would do a good bit of damage, but when you compare it to, like, let's say, Desolator on the Weaver, the Dire is going to be able to take Roshan far quicker.
Yeah, and also you have to be really careful about roaching against this enemy Dire team because you have obviously your epicenter, you have a Blink, Toss, Avalanche, and Tiny, and you have a freezing field that the Crystal Maiden could just channel outside. And with the Dire are going to spot this out first. This is going to be a big fight because this has been spotted by the Radiant. It's going to be a huge fight here. Okay, well.
Now we play the waiting game.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that ward. Oh, okay, well, it doesn't matter in the end because Dire have this spotted out, so it doesn't even. Oh, he's gone in.
It's gonna. I think he's looking for the opportunity if someone gets out of position, like the way the Alchemist had gone all the way around.
Yeah, there's a bit of a Mexican standout going here. Like they both have vision of each other, so they can both see exactly what's going on. But I mean, I understand where both players are kind of coming from, because where it would be nice to kind of split push and stuff. If as soon as you leave this, they're going to go in.
We see straight away Cindy's, so nope, I've had enough of that. He has his Shivas ready, he has his boots of travel, so he's going to leave. Which is fine, is because with the rest of the team here, is they do have enough threat, I suppose, to keep them away. All they're even showing is just the Venomancer who's just constantly throwing out wards, so they only know now that the Timbersaw has actually left. So they're still kind of faffing about.
If you go to another lane while this kind of standoff happens, that means you're kind of forcing the hand of the other players, because what Cindy's doing now is he's pushing the wave. He's pushing for a tier 2, and so they've gone into Roche.
And she's going to lose her life.
This maiden's going to get caught out.
Oh, and the silence as well. He can't throw his ult. Oh, this is huge. And the tombstone as well in such a tight area.
Oh, they killed the Weaver before the time lapse. And yeah, the Gale. Oh, this is Roche. That's 5 heroes. That was huge play. Yeah, once again, Ingi initiating on the Crystal Maiden. The initiation in this game has been just like top notch, and a really nice placement of the fight, because you have your Undying Tombstone on the high ground when they're pushing up to you. It's really easy to land something like Venomous Scale. The silence came out at the perfect time. Alchemist was channeling his stun. Just everything just came together there in that team fight. That's an absolute masterclass. And then City is pushing tier 3 as well. So it's just incredible play there by the Radiant. Just everything worked out really well for them.
I think I saw a couple of games I was playing against a really good Undying, and just where they're walking up now, that ward spot, dropping a tombstone up there if you're fighting in that area is ridiculous, because they literally can't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. I personally, if like my Crystal Maiden was initiated on there, wouldn't have fought, because it's just such a dangerous place to fight, because there's so much there's so much that the Dire can do with, or the Radiant can do with it. You know, even Storm Spirit's like right clicks when he has it charged up with Overload is hitting multiple people. Venom's Gale is so easy to land, so Poison Nova.
Pretty greedy.
Yeah. And it's all for Crystal Maiden, do you know what I mean? Like, if they come in and initiate Crystal Maiden, fair enough, you get the Crystal Maiden, but that doesn't stop you. You know, you don't have to back away from Roche as soon as your Crystal Maiden dies, do you know? Looks like he might get caught out here. He's very tanky. She just comes out. Yeah, Tiny's not going to be able to do much to.
Oh,
love the Timber Chain.
And this is it. This is the thing. You say that Timbersaw, he peters off, like, fair enough, his damage does, but he just gets tankier and tankier, and he's just a nuisance, really. Especially if you're going to be fighting in an area like this where he can just keep zipping around with Timber Chain.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's still doing quite a lot of work. I mean, he does tend to fall out in the mid game, but that's usually because your enemies have kind of picked up a load of BKBs, and it's really hard to do anything. But there's only one BKB coming out on the Dire. So, you know, and also you have such squishy people like Sand King and Crystal Maiden that you can just blow up still. And also he's doing quite well. You can see him, he's 21 charges on his flux. So it was a tough early game for him, but he's definitely like his second highest net worth now, which is pretty incredible with that start.
This you can always see is like with an Alchemist with his passive skill, the Reevil's Gold. He's always going to come back into it easily, and he did have a lot of space for a good while. Weaver being below the Silencer, and considering Silencer died a good few times at the start, it's not good. Like, what does Weaver even have? Deso and a crit. And here comes the ult again, and it's going to whiff.
Oh no!
One of these days, and Ingi's straight in.
Yeah, there comes the deep stick.
Gonna pop the BKB. And the tombstone, the huge aggressive tombstone in the enemy base, and there comes the Poison Nova, and the Timbersaw doing all his work. Woof.
I know I say this after every fight. Jesus, like Ingi's initiations are so good. Like he saw that the epicenter was whiffed, and as soon as it was whiffed, he was in. Like, that's just such good Storm Spirit play. Like he knows he's so far ahead, and he's
gone again.
Pushing
Just because he can.
So well.
This is the thing, is once you get to that stage where you can zip a little bit further, you have to be doing it, you have to be getting kills, and that's how you get ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were saying that if this game goes late, the Radiant are in trouble because the carry from the Dire is a bit stronger. But what the Radiant have done is just constantly kind of win team fight after team fight. Like it was middling out, but funnily enough, as soon as the Dire got that Roshan and pushed tier 3, once the Radiant won that team fight, that's kind of when everything started changing really. They started winning every single team fight after that, and the Weaver just went further and further down the network. The Storm Spirit just went further and further up the network, and just Tiny never got going in this game full stop.
Yeah.
And Alchemist, he was a little bit scary about 10 minutes ago, but
we're going to have Weaver's coming straight in here. Now, we have something that we rarely see, and which is just amazing. We have double ult on Timbersaw. That's double chakram. There we go, it just does so much damage. The only problem is you don't want to be using it on a Alchemist. And he gets the Bloodstone Deny as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. I know, I don't care either.
It's fine, they lost their big game advantage, they lost their Storm Spirit, but they've taken 2 lanes of racks for 2.
I mean, you definitely could have backed. Well, Storm Spirit definitely could have backed. But obviously he's feeling confident. Feels like he can take the fight. But they didn't really have the team fight there to take it. But yeah, I mean, you've just taken 2 lanes of racks, so you can probably afford that.
So I can't really see what can the Dire do to kind of try and change this. Like they have such team fight potential, but they seem to be getting caught either with their pants down with the Storm Spirit initiation. Like Tiny's build to me has just been absolutely crazy. Like a BKB would have been far better than spending on Oblivion Staff and a Sage's Mask and the drums. Drums fair enough is early game, but he got that 20, 25, 30 minutes into the game, which is it's useless then at that stage.
I mean the double Sage Mask was I don't understand that. Like he did the perfect kind of early game time build, which was bottle, phase, blink. I think the drums are fairly like irrelevant. Like
they didn't even go phase though, which is strange again.
Oh, sorry, not phase. Power treads. The drums, like you can see, he hasn't used a single charge of the drums, and like I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like you have your bottle, so you should be okay for mana. You have bottle and treads, so that's your mana sorted. You have blink, that's your movement sorted. After that, like you should start to be looking for items that help your your fighting, and he hasn't done that. Like he picked up 2 Sage Masks. I don't know why. And you could see in the early game he was a threat, with his blink and his avalanche and stuff. The problem with relying on your magical abilities too much is during the late game they fade off. And the thing about Tiny is if you're going to build a blink, that's fine because you're scary in the mid game, but then you have to transition that into late game with an Ags or something like that. But he never has. And then Alchemist has gone this kind of like a hybrid
wonky build.
Yeah, Blade Mail I just hate, full stop. Like I just don't like Blade Mail. Vlad's is fine, Arna is fine. You have your pipe. I mean, yeah, like that. Your pipe is fine, but like if you have an Alchemist, Tiny, and a Weaver, then fair enough, your Alchemist can get a pipe. But not if your Tiny has just gone like nothing really. Why didn't the Tiny pick up a pipe? Because he's gone. Why didn't Tiny go blink, bottle, pipe, and then the Alchemist could transition into a right clicker? But have one of them do that.
Not a mixture of both on both of them.
Yeah. But like, you ask me what they can do, like, they can still take a big team fight, I think. Like, the Weaver is still doing...
Here we go, keep an eye on this skanking. And... ooh, big, he managed to take one out of it, but still. I think he is going to... I think he's actually going to lose his life here, potentially.
But the Weaver and the skanking are both... Alchemist is there, chopping away, but...
sitting in all those tombstones. Oh yeah. Double chakram, too much damage.
So, like, I don't want to keep waiting on the Sand King, because, he landed in a potential there, but that, like Storm Spirit is the most lethal hero in the game. And if you have this massive team fight ult, you can't just like use that on use it on like a silencer and a silencer, and I think it was like an Undying or something like that. Like Ingi was completely away from that, and then he just kind of balled in and started wrecking his face again.
Oh, and Ingi's he managed to get away from it. Huge reactions to be able to see that coming and before he even gets the avalanche off him on his stage, yeah, just ball lighting away.
Tower has fallen. Dire's ancient is
Great play. It
under
was a
attack.
bit ropey there. It was very fighty, and I don't think that was the fault of the Radiant. It was more the Dire just kept going into us, and then you get a little bit tempted to follow in the fights. But they did manage to kind of to pull it back. Especially it was Ingy really. This is the kind of the thing is that with a Storm Spirit, a good Storm Spirit anyway, is once he kind of gets going, is he makes the plays, and he certainly did. As the initiations were huge.
Yeah, I think the really fighty early game probably helped the Radiant, even though they weren't coming out on top of the fights. They were kind of breaking even. They were still like slowing down the Alchemist and the Tiny and the Weaver. The fight on the tier 3 Radiant side when the Dire had Roche and they just killed the Undying was huge. That was game turning, because after that they just started. They really didn't lose a single fight after that. And obviously the Roche fight is the big fight that obviously kind of sealed the win. But yeah, like really good play. Like they had a really tough opening. Like Silencer was shut down really hard. Timbersaw was killed a few times in the early game. Like Ingy comes out as man of the match in this for me. He had a decent early game. He was scary from like really the very beginning. And like some of his ball lightnings to get out of AoEs like was really good, and his pickoffs were just fantastic. Like he was the initiator. Like he kept doing these like amazing initiations where he just dives like really deep, but you know he knew that he was you know far ahead, and he knew he could push his advantage. And then like you know they had great team fight. The Tombstone was really important in most of those fights. You know when you have an Undying, you have so many team fights. That's really the perfect situation for an Undying because Tombstone just does so much work, and the Dire never really respected the Tombstone. And then the other heroes then started really pitching in as well. Like Silencer started getting on top. And his right click started doing some damage. The poison novas were hit really well in the kind of mid to late game. Like he was kind of whiffing them a bit at the start, only hitting one, but there was a few poison novas in the late game that hit like all 4 heroes or 5 heroes. And then Timbersaw then came back into it as well. Did really well to get the farm that he had. Like he was like I don't know what he finished in network, but he was second last time I checked. And for an offlane Timbersaw that gets killed like twice in the early game, that's huge. So yeah, just really good team fighting, and then just really good initiation from the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable game, but I think we'll wrap it up there because we're currently just looking at the homepage at the moment. But thanks very much for watching, and I'm sure we'll be trying to do more again.
Thanks.